We set ourselves a timer so that we only stay on for 30 minutes. Because as you guys know, we usually go on for a lot longer time.
Plus, we have dinner at mom's.
Yeah, today. So we gotta keep ourselves on a time schedule. But hey, guys, good to be back.
It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, or roundabout since we were last up here. So we just want to drop in, say hi, and just I guess a little bit of a life update, what we've been up to, and all that. Some of you know that we do CrossFit. We actually did a couple of Jalen Cacie story videos on it 2 years ago now. Yeah, when we first started doing those videos.
And, like a year and a half. I don't think it's been a total 2 years.
Well, we did the first video in 2020. So that would be...
That was the end of 2020.
Oh, well, yeah, I see what you're saying. So, yeah, that makes sense. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. But, yeah, so anyway, to that point, every year, CrossFit has a CrossFit Open, which is where everybody that wants to, that participates in CrossFit, can go to their local gym and can participate in this worldwide competition. And it's a series of workouts over the course of 3 weeks. And basically, you do the workout, and then you can rank yourself on the leaderboard internationally and see how you do every year.
And only the top 10%, I think.
Less than that, make it to the
next
games, level,
like the final games.
Competition.
So basically, for us, we're not trying to compete to be in the games, but we're definitely, it's a benchmark to kind of see where you are physically, and to also see the things that you need to work on in your fitness journey. But it's fun because our gym makes it fun, and everybody's out there cheering for you, rooting for you. So it just makes a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we were doing that for the last 3 weeks. Yeah. So it takes your mental space,
and then just life general.
Yeah, so anyway, so that's what we did last 3 weeks. So that's finally done. This past Saturday was the last one, last workout. So we did that. So that's done. And so now we get to shift our focus to some other stuff. And part of that focus is actually some Jalen Cacie stuff, believe it or not. The Jalen Cacie YouTube business side of things. So we're going to work with some stuff around the house to kind of make way for that. And working on something that we're going to bring to you guys very soon that we think is pretty exciting for us. And we hope you guys like it too. So just hang with us while we got the details of that worked out. I want to talk about it, but we haven't worked out enough of the details exact yet that I'll talk about it. Some stuff may change. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So that'll be cool. I'm also we're going to, I guess it'll be the next time we go live, whenever that is. We'll talk about the next topic of discussion, which I've mentioned before. I want to talk about singleness from a man's perspective, because we've talked about it from a perspective on a couple of lives that we've done. But now we'll really talk about that. And it's something that I wrote a while back that we were going to do a video on and release that we never did, maybe last year. And so now I want to go back and kind of talk about that. So look forward to that. I think that'll probably take a couple, maybe 2 or 3 videos for me to get through all of it, because a few points I want to hit. But so look forward to that. So we mentioned it before.
We'll probably make an announcement for that one so that people can know when to tune in.
But last time I mentioned it, a lot of people were like, yeah, you definitely want to see that. So just letting you know that is coming. That should be probably coming up next, unless something else happens that we want to talk about first. But for sure, that is definitely coming. And so we'll give you guys more details on that when we're ready to do that. So that should be fun.
So we seem a little tired, because I know people are very observant. If we seem a little tired, because we are. We also have been fighting off this cold. I don't know where it came from. Like a little 24-hour bug, but we're good. Just if we sound nasally, because just the last little bit of that. And then we still have a toddler. We haven't gotten rid of him. And his life has changed a lot too. He's now revoking naps. He's changing so much daily, and we're trying to keep up with that. So that gets us tired. But such is life, we still are happy, we still good. But just in case you guys notice, like, oh, they don't seem to have as much energy today.
We don't.
We don't. We really, really don't. And honestly, that's why we're like setting this timer so we won't go over time, so we can change and go to mama's house, eat dinner, and then take a very nice Sunday nap. That is the hope so anyway. We tried
that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, we tried taking a nap yesterday, and JJ won't let us take a nap.
Well, you took a nap. I didn't take a nap. Shit, I had to look at her on the couch, napping away. I love with JJ.
I appreciate it, though. Yeah. I really did. Oh. I appreciate it. You're a good husband. Yeah, and a good father. You are a good father.
Ooh, boy.
But we know that we haven't been up here the last 2 weeks, so we didn't want y'all to think that we escaped or abandoned y'all. We're really trying to be more consistent this year. Bringing content and talking and ministering and things like that.
I just thought it would be a little nasty just being in my space like that.
Wow. Well, thank you. So we just want to make sure you guys know that we're still here. We're still doing stuff. And what Jalen said earlier about us announcing about something new that we're working on that we know it's going to be beneficial to everybody. We're really excited about it, but we really want to just get the details down and, actually execute a few things before we share it to the whole world. Because once we share it, that's it. It's done. Like, we're moving forward. So yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And now just saying that, I look at myself. I do look pretty rough right now.
Yeah, you do look pretty rough.
You got makeup on. You look good and all that stuff. I just look
the
rough.
power of red lips.
I look tired.
You look a little rough. But it's okay. I'll let you know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all that we wanted to check in basically and say, and nothing too crazy or deep today. If we try to talk about something crazy or deep, then we'll be up here for an hour. So maybe we don't even need a time of 30 minutes. Maybe we can stop right now. What do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah. If you have something to say.
Well, I want to acknowledge because the last live we did, we was talking about the age gap. What was the title of it again?
The truth about our age
gap. The truth about the age gap, and of course that got a lot of response. And so thank you to everyone who engaged with that video, even after the video was live. You guys are still engaging with that, so thank you for that. Thank you for engaging with my book talk, how to be happy and single and happy. I'm a terrible author, huh? Single and happy. I still think I may still do another live on that, talk about it, maybe even piggyback off of your thing. Mm-hmm. That might be an ongoing thing that we do for a little while, because I would say this is the season where a lot of people are starting to get married now. People are starting to get engaged. I mean, I think every day somebody's getting married. Somebody's always entering into a new relationship. But usually around the spring, summertime is when everybody's engaging in new relationships, or they're getting married, they're starting off a new life. And we really just want to be there to help people prepare themselves for that. I even foresee us talking about the first years of marriage, because that's also a very foundational point in your life, in a relationship, because once you get through the engagement side of it and you plan the wedding and now you said I do, there's a whole nother foundation you need to set so that the rest of your married life can be successful and smooth. Because in those first couple of years, and we've mentioned this a long time ago on this channel, that the first 2 years of your marriage is like the most crucial part of your relationship as a married couple. It's the time where you will do your most, I guess the word I want to use is seeding, like planting the seeds for your success, for your future in your relationship. So I think I would love to really talk about that.
Yeah, no,
moving forward.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. So that's another topic we're going to do. Yep. And of course, if you guys have questions or things, you can always bring those, because I think we did that the last one. People would drop questions. We were able to answer some. So I think that's a good way to handle questions, kind of for the interim.
So if y'all interested in that topic, just leave a comment.
Yeah.
And let us know.
Yep, that should be a good one. But actually, I guess if there's anything else I want to mention, there was something we were talking about last night that I thought would be good to mention. It's, I guess, a short principle. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but no, I know what it was. We were actually talking about being in business, or the sense of having a skill you go to school for, and then not really knowing what you want to do with it. After that, kind of having direction and all that. But you're kind of passionate more so about the topic about people who go to learn something, then they struggle with the money making side.
Well, I think I was challenging the broke mindset.
Yeah.
So we were talking about that. It was a particular person that we mutually know, and they're very gifted, very talented, but they find themselves in a spot where they're just, I don't know. Like, I know so much about this industry, about this, but yet their ideas like I don't want to make money from it, but yet I need money, and so I'm torn, and it's like, how come we can never connect prosperity to our gifts? Because some people are so lowly mindset, they think they're being humble, but really is self-righteousness. And that's a whole nother thing. We'll get into that once we talk about it. But that they suffer, and this whole starving artist mentality that most people live by, that's very creative, is not of God. I'm gonna be just plain about that. It's not. And so we was talking about that yesterday, because it's a thing, especially in the Christian community, because we are afraid to be prosperous, because we are afraid of what money could do to us, because we see money ruin people. But what they really don't understand is not the money that ruin people, it's the character of that person themselves that ruin them. Because money in itself is not evil. Money is a tool, money is neutral. But in the hands of someone who is evil, it will be evil. In the hands of someone who is kind and a giver and faithful to the things of God, that's what money will do. We need money to move the world. We need money to preach the gospel. We need money to do everything. Barter. And along with the favor of God, it can go. Money isn't everything. Money isn't everything, but it is a thing that we need. And as believers, we ought to accept the fact that God made us to prosper. God owns everything, so why can't we have some of it? Because we're his children. Like, that don't make any sense. We serve a rich and bountiful God, and yet his children, we have to suffer and be and living in rags and not having enough. And how are we able to give to the poor? How are we able to bless people if we don't have anything ourselves? Like, that's not how God wants us to live. So we will be talking about that, because my husband has an anointing for him for prosperity. And we know this channel, we talk a lot about marriage, but God ministers to us about a lot of things. And we've seen God's hand move in our finances in a way that, man, is amazing. Over the past 6 years of our marriage, God has took us on a journey, and it's specifically him, because that's his focus, that God is having more on prosperity. And our finances have changed, like, tremendously, in a good way. And he's teaching us how to trust him. And so we want to teach that as it pertains to marriage and relationship, because believe it or not, the cause of divorce in most relationships is money. It is money.
Well, because this could kind of get into, especially from a man's perspective, the videos I'm going to do on for men. But basically, what I want to talk about is when you have a man, and I'll kind of give the intro to it, but and I think the title of it that I want to title it is How to Be a Single Man with an Eye Toward Marriage. And what I'm saying is, if you are a man who is unmarried at this point, we use the term single, but the proper term is unmarried, and you want to be married at some point, a lot of young men are in that position and don't know how to get from A to Z. Don't know how to find the woman, don't know what they should be focusing on, and end up just kind of lost. And a lot of times we don't actually focus on that because we feel like it's so easy for a man to get a woman, and you've got so many charlatans out there that will lie and deceive and cheat to get a hold of a woman. But for the men that want to do it properly, a lot of times it feels like, what's the guidebook? How do I do that? And so now, on the other end of that, being married, I was able to look back and like, well, Lord, how did you prep me even before I realized what you were doing? How did you get me from point A to point B, from an unmarried man to a man who was a husband who could take a wife? And he laid out what I will say, not necessarily comprehensive, like these are the only principles, but these are the principles that I could highlight in my life that got me from there. And money actually plays a pretty pivotal role in that, because people don't seem to understand about money. There's a scripture that in the Bible, and I want to say it's Ecclesiastes, but I think it's in the Message translation, where it literally says money makes the world go round. And there's the topic, I believe, if I'm right, that's talked about most in the Bible, or one of the most talked about topics in the Bible, is money. From Old Testament to New Testament, money is talked about regularly. Jesus taught about money. The apostles taught about money. Solomon taught about money. David taught about money. Money is mentioned a whole lot. Money is mentioned in Genesis. You mentioned people think money is evil, money is neutral. I would go as far as say that money is good. Well, why? Because when God was creating the garden, he mentioned all the semi-precious stones that were in the garden. And it said that when God created, he said everything was good. There was nothing created that God created that was bad. Then everything was taken and perverted. And you could take something that God created and turn it for negativity. You could turn it to evil. And that's what Satan did with mankind. So when it all started, though, it was good and there was a purpose for it. So when you lack the purpose for it, you're going to struggle to get the provision for it. So if you lack the purpose, you lack the provision, then that's going to bring division in your marriage, because as much as you try to make marriage about love and happiness and we can just get along if we have a little bit, and there's a principle there of contentment that you should learn. But at the end of the day, you're going to have a disagreement because at the end of the day, we're lacking this provision. Yep. We're lacking a manifestation of that provision. And so then there's a lot of pressure on the man, because what the devil did was create a society that says that what a man's worth is the work that he does and what he is able to generate from that and material things and create a supply for to provide for his family. And so the man is listed as the provider. And while there is a correct sentiment in that, there's also an incorrect sentiment in that as well. So I'm going to go and delve into that as well to show you that in all reality in God's system, the man is not the provider. And that may sound shocking. It's like, well, who's the provider? Well, God is. And I'm just leave it that tease, and then we kind of go into it from there. So there's a lot of principles I want to touch on, but the topic of money will come up because that's probably one of the things that haunts a man with a family the most, is when there's enough of it, when there's not enough of it, and going out to work 8 hours a day. And I would say, if there's anybody watching, a great majority probably raise their hand if I would say, how many of you only work the job you work because you have to make money for your family?
You love to. Yeah.
You know, it's not something that you would want to do. If you could quit, if you had enough money where you could quit tomorrow and stop going there, you would stop going there. Mm-hmm. And that's a miserable existence that you have to spend 8 hours away from the family that you love, or possibly longer, depending on how many jobs you've got, doing things that you don't want to do for the people that you say that you love. And so what that automatically does, it builds into your relationship a dissatisfaction and underappreciation, because you spend so much time away and you say the only reason I'm doing this thing that I hate, that I really don't like doing, is for the people that I love. So if you come home and there's any disagreement with your spouse, if your children are acting the wrong kind of way, immediately this indignation rises up because you feel like, I'm sacrificing all this, I'm sacrificing my happiness for you, and then you will give me back things that I need. Mm-hmm. And so it creates an extra barrier in your marriage relationship, because now what could have just been a normal disagreement has this extra layer of burden of this dissatisfaction on it, because you feel like, I'm doing all this to satisfy my family. My family isn't satisfying me. And so then your wife simply becomes the person who's there to relieve your stress from the day's stress of work. And if she doesn't do that perfectly, because maybe she had a bad day with the kids or any other reason, then suddenly she's no longer a good wife doing her duty unto you, even though you're doing your duty unto her.
And also in that, learning how to see money right and knowing that all money isn't good money, because being on this journey, God has opened many doors of opportunity to you, and to the point where you've had offers upon offers, and I mean several offers, people chasing you down saying, hey, we want to hire you to do this. Hey, we'll give you this salary. Hey, we'll give you this salary. We really want your talent, we want you over here. And if we was at this stage of money was a tight thing, or it was, and I mean, I'm be honest, the opportunity sounded great to make more money, but we had to have this foundation and this agreement and had this plan from God, because he could have said, well, I'm gonna quit this good job I have now, I'm gonna go chase this more money. But without direction about how God wanted to move in our finances, you could have made a poor choice. Yeah. It may have given us more money, but you don't always know what's gonna come along with having that more money. So it's always good to chase wisdom when it comes to finances and money, because having wisdom will not only give you prosperity, but also give you peace to walk with God during this journey. It will also give you wisdom and vision and be able to see what's behind those offers, what's behind all of that. Because we could have grabbed a lot of things, but we could be having more stress in our relationship trying to get more money. And
what's the definite? There's not many ways to do the financial journey of life. Mm-hmm. There's only God's way, and then there's the devil's way. Yeah. His way is called mammon. That's a system. That's a spirit. And so the Bible says that, it was Paul talking. He said, those who desire to be rich, they pierce themselves through many sorrows, and the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. When you look at what love is, it's a pursuit, it's a desire, it's a chasing for something. And so those who desire to be rich pierced themselves through with many sorrows, and some have strayed away from the faith or strayed away from faith in doing that. And we have many believers who have done that. All right. So we've looked at that and been like, okay, well, I guess I'll just stay away from money then. But then that's counterintuitive, because even Jesus said, well, the Father knows you have need of all these things. So it's like, okay, well, what do I do then? We got Paul saying those who desire to be rich in these things are piercing themselves through with toil and sorrows, and the love and the chase of money is the root of all kinds of evil, so I stay away from it. But then I got Jesus saying that the Father knows I have need of these things. He's going to add them to me. So how do I get this? Well, the secret is to go back to Proverbs 10:22. And Proverbs is a great book because it's the wisdom book. And 10:22 says, the blessing of the Lord makes rich and addeth no sorrows with it. All right, so we got Paul saying, okay, you chase it, you're going to pierce yourself through with sorrows. And then you got wisdom saying, but if you get it by the blessing of the Lord, there's no sorrow added to it. So that's the only way to get it. And then if you look at wisdom in the Bible, wisdom talks about, she says, I was with God in the beginning. Before there was even a world, I was there and my delight was with him. And God used me to create everything. And then wisdom says, with me is riches and honor and long life. Okay, so you chase money, you go after money, you pierce yourself through many sorrows. Well, those sorrows, there's a lot of stress, a lot of dishonor, there's a lot of toil and a lot of sickness and a lot of broken families. And that's why you see some of the richest people having divorces and having breakdowns, and celebrities who are suicidal and things like that. Those are the many sorrows from chasing money. Okay, but wisdom says, if you'll pursue me, it says, make wisdom your sister, make wisdom your kinswoman, grab hold of wisdom, buy wisdom, forsake, say, choose me over riches, because with wisdom comes riches, honor, and long life. So that is the only way to get it. And God took me on a journey of basically chasing wisdom. I didn't even realize it at the time, but kind of being on the part of the journey that I'm in now, I can look back and say, okay, this is what we were doing. So that's something we want to share.
I'm going to pause you right there. Because I just see, even though we are like mad tired, the word just charges us. And you can go on and on. And we're already at 22 minutes on the live. We got 30 minutes. But that's some of the stuff that we're going to be bringing this in the next, I guess, few weeks. And so be on the lookout for that. Look out for the announcement. So we're going to be delving into relationships that pertains to unmarried men. Still going to be talking about unmarried women, single life, talking about the first years of marriage and finances. Like that is going to be, I believe, our focus in the next several weeks and to come. And we will make those announcements. But always just keep us on alert. Keep your bell on so we upload stuff, and when we are live, you will be notified. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it there so we can go to Mama's house and she can feed us. I'm excited about that. And thank you guys for always joining us. We love you. Always know that even if we're not up here all the time, know that you are always in our thoughts and our prayers. There's not a day that goes by that we're not thinking about our family, friends, and that we're not thinking about you all because we love you, and we count it an honor and a blessing that any one person would tune in to us and listen to what we have to say, powered by God himself. So there
you go. Praise God.
That's it.
All right, so we're gonna go see your mom. Take care of your parents. You only get one set.
Yeah.
Leave with that set of wisdom. We'll see you guys. Love you.
Bye.
Thank you.